All right, so UFC Las Vegas 100 just happened. Neil Magny versus Carlos Prates. And I'm going to give my breakdown and my overall thoughts and, you know, just how the fights went, basically, as I do every weekend. And real quick disclaimer: I don't gamble, I don't bet, I don't recommend you bet. Betting ruins lives. I kind of just make picks and predictions just for fun and for passion of the sport. Now, with that being said, we go on. Oh yeah, the first fight, right? So the first fight, Melissa Dixon versus Claudia Saigula. Great KO. I don't care. Moving on, we have Tresean Gore versus Anton Turkalj. So I picked Tresean Gore, and you know what? I wasn't that confident in it, and I thought this was a 50-50 fight. Now, this fight was interesting. I guess we learned some things, that Turkalj is actually the worst middleweight to ever fight, ever, at all times, in the entirety of the UFC. He's kind of like a autistic child hire. He is terrible. Bro is 6'5", getting submitted by is Tresean Gore like 5'8"? He's getting standing guillotine by a 5'8" fucking Tresean Gore. All right. Now I think Tresean Gore is probably 6 foot, but for the narrative, we're gonna say he's 5'8". All right. But Tresean Gore, little inconsistent, saying he wants some belts. Relax there, little bro. All right, you got to get ranked first before you start yapping. But he did submit Turkalj. Great win, I guess. Now on a 2-fight win streak. Give him some more cans in middleweight and see what happens. Like maybe give him an Eor Pateria or some shit. I don't know. Don't care. Great win. Nice start. I like how there was a lot of finishes this card. This card was pretty fantastic, I'm not going to lie, in terms of, like, visually watching. But yeah, Tresean Gore won. I got that prediction right. Moving on, Cody Stamann versus Damon Blackshear. I got Damon Blackshear basically pinpoint perfect. I literally just said Damon Blackshear is just the better fighter. Cody Stamann's just going in with genetic disadvantages. Cody Stamann, he's a hard worker, great grinder, has the credentials, but Damon Blackshear is just talented, and that's all it really is, you know? Damon Blackshear is kind of like a smarter Jalen Turner, a Jalen Turner that doesn't quit, if you will, you know? And that's kind of a very dangerous guy in bantamweight, you know? So I do think Damon Blackshear will actually go far. Cody Stamann, not too bad of a loss here. He was getting lit up on the feet, but he nearly knocked out Damon Blackshear a few times, you know? Damon Blackshear is a little chinny, and he reaches a lot, and I really don't like that. But Cody Stamann, maybe try to find a way to get the flyweight, brother. Your reach is just not for any division. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You know, it sucks. I know you work hard. You're a grinder. You got some of the hardest work ethic we've ever seen. But it's just you're at genetic disadvantages here. You know, and we're in an era where if someone's got talent, in the new era, they kind of just beat you. But yeah, Cody Stamann, not really a bad loss. Got this fight perfectly. Damon Blackshear got the submission. I think I predicted submission as well. But yeah, Damon Blackshear, pretty happy with the performance, everything. Moving on, we have Matthew Semi the Jedi versus Charles Radke. I got this one right again. I got pretty much every dude fight right, I think, except for one, and we'll get into that. But Matthew Semmelsberger, Charles Radke. I kind of like. I know it was a 50-second knockout, but like I kind of still predicted this like fairly well. I think Charles Radke is just the better fighter than Semi Jedi. Like Semi the Jedi, people say he's dangerous because he's got a knockdown in every fight. I understand that completely, but it says something when you can't finish a fight ever. You know what I mean? Like if you're able to knock down your opponent, great, but you need to be able to finish the opponent to win the fight. You know, especially when you're losing the fight while having those knockdowns. He is kind of chinny in his past fights. He takes rounds off. Like there's nothing to really say about Semi the Jedi other than he might get a guaranteed knockdown. Might get a guaranteed knockdown. You know, like a 90% chance he gets a knockdown. This was the 10% where he couldn't because Radke, say it again, Radke, some say. But yeah, Radke got it done. Radke is like he almost ran out of like Okay, aside from skills here, let's talk about skills. Radke, heavy hands, little sloppy, little open on the feet, but you love to see it. True warrior. But when we talk about mic game here, listen, he's like he's got this Call of Duty chat lobby aura around him. You can tell he's been in the trenches of Modern Warfare and Black Ops, right? Definitely has that vocabulary at his hip side, ready to just like, F-bomb, N-word, he's getting ready to say it. But when he's on the mic, it's like his tool belt's disabled, and he's got to go to like, shit, I gotta say something that can be promotable here and I don't have to pay a fine for. And then he kind of just, fuck you, and this whole division is a bitch, and I'm gonna fuck them all up, and yeah, I respect it. We all know if his tool belt wasn't disabled, hey, everyone's catching a slur, all right? But Radke, I think take some time off with some Chael Sonnen or something just to get your mic game a little better. But other than that, hard worker, grinder. I do think Charles Radke is actually very good, and a lot of people think he's shit, but he's like, he lost to Carlos Prates. Are we taking that like win away, especially after tonight? But yeah. Anyways, moving on. We have Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos versus short notice Zachary Scrogan. I picked Alessio as well as 99.9% of the world. I'm kind of disappointed. Zachary's are having really bad luck. We had Zachary Reese, now Zachary Scrogan. Listen, if there's any Zacharys out there, stop taking these short notice fucking fights, Prepare, okay? Then get in there. Like, Jesus, man. Fucking bums. Anyways, yeah, Scrogan just wasn't on the level. Like, Zaleski is low welterweight tier. Scrogan is not even on the UFC roster, I don't even think he makes it to middleweight. That's how shit he kind of looks, I didn't see some of his fights, but I saw some of his training, and his training looks like shit. And it's very, very easy to make your training look good. Alright? Scrogan's training looked like he just started like a few weeks ago. It looks like shit. He's slow, he's sloppy, his ground kind of looks terrible. And yeah, Zaleski gets it done, You love to see it. Moving on, we have a women's fight. I think I got that one right. Don't care. Moving on, it was just boring. Nobody cares. Moving on, Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dusko. Okay, this one I got wrong. Dusko, I picked Dusko. I just thought Dusko was a little bit dangerous. However, upon further inspection, he is coming off an injury, and it's been a little while since he's gone against a dangerous contender here, and he's having tough fights. A lot of red flags, don't like that. A lot of injuries, a lot of pullouts, don't like that. And Abdul, to be fair, Dusko's pretty fucking tough, alright? He got dropped, and then he instantly started going for the leg work, the heel hooks, and the calf. He didn't go for a calf slicer, but he had game plans. You can tell he was still trying to work. And you like to see that. He kind of reminds me of a harder hitting Anthony Smith. But yeah, it's just a bad fight to come back to. You're going against a 6-0 guy with heat in his hands. It is what it is. Don't really take the loss too hard for Dusko, but Mansour Abdul, he's got power in his hands, but that's kind of all we saw in this fight. I gotta see more before I start riding with him as like a true contender. Against unranked middleweights, probably slaughters them. Against ranked middleweights, does he pass the Jack Hermanson? Those are the questions we ask. Moving on, Luana Pinheiro, Jillian Robertson, don't care. Moving on. I got that one right again, because I'm pretty sure I picked all the women on the right. I could be wrong. Don't care. No one cares. They're women fighting. They're literally just there for tokens. But moving on. Gaston Bolanos versus Cortavius Ramos. Hey. Pretty sure I picked Gaston. I'm pretty sure I picked Gaston. I didn't really have too much reasoning other than he hits hard. And, I mean, obviously, guys, if you watch the fight, clearly Gaston won every single round. Easy 10-8 in the third. I mean, is it even a question? Really, guys? Now, I do think Gaston did rob Cortavius. I picked Gaston. I think Gaston robbed Cortavius. I thought Cortavius won bare minimum round 1 and round 3. I thought kind of clear, so I thought it was a nice 29-28. It wasn't. Kind of sucks for Ramios. To be fair, there is a strong argument Gaston won round 1 and 2, but some judge gave him a 10-8. I don't know who that judge was. He needs to be fired now. Don't know what his name is. Don't know what region he's from. He had money on Gaston. We know it. Get him out, okay? Check his bank account. He received money that night for getting that win. Get him out. Permanently. Gone. No more judging career for you. Outside of that, giving him every round is still crazy. Like, if you watch that fight, I mean, let me know. I thought Cortavius at least won. If you don't give him round 1, I think you give him round 2. You know? It's kind of one of those where Cortavius was dominating in round 1, and then at the end he kind of... Or no, sorry. He was getting dominated in round 1, and then at the end he kind of had like a finishing moment. So he was a little bit more dangerous in round 1. In round... I think it was even up on strikes, almost double. In round 2, a little bit of the opposite situation where he was dominant for like 4 minutes with the back take, and then he kind of got laid on for the final minute. I mean, if you're siding the more dangerous opponent, then Romius wins round 1. If you're siding the more dominant opponent, he wins round 2. I'm really confused on how the judges can get away with like these inconsistent dogshit scorecards. Maybe there was racism involved, who knows? Wow, this card was not long, huh? Holy fuck. Anyways, moving on. GM3 versus Reinier de Ridder. Who cares? This guy's gonna be fucking nobody. Hey, this was probably the most enjoyable old man fight I think I've ever seen in my life. You know? And there's been some heaters. But GM3 had to bring out all the tools in his belt, let's just say. You know, he had the grappling hook out, he had the fucking wall climbers out, you know, he had everything activated in this final round, you know? He's using all abilities and ultimate for this fight, and Reinier de Ridder is just... He's just got plot armor, I guess. Ritter's got that fucking main character MC plot armor where he just can't lose, you know? He has to beat the villain in the villain's worst way possible, you know? He has to do the irony win, you know? He Mearsharded the Mearshart, as he said, you know? But what I will say, something to take away from this fight, Reinier sucks. He is terrible. This was the only other one I think I got wrong. I think it was Dusko and Gerald. I picked Gerald, and to be honest with you, I kind of was right. He is the better striker. Not saying he has the better chin. He is the better striker. And I kind of, like, predicted it perfectly. He outlanded Reinier in round 1, and he was piecing him up in round 1 and in round 2. He just got clipped at the end of round 1. Could have stopped the fight, but didn't, because we all know GM3's got that extra health bar. But Reinier, his stand-up looks awful. Atrocious. People were comparing him to DDP. I know it's a meme. Reinier is so far away from DDP, like it's not even... It looks like... How to compare this? What's a good way to compare this? It's like watching an alien mimic what humans do. You know? It's almost like watching Sean Woodson box, if you know what I mean. It's like, it looks like shit, and he looks retarded doing it. It works somehow, but Reinier was getting pieced up on the feet by GM3. I don't think he passes the Jack Hermanson test. Reinier is not that dangerous on the ground. GM3 kind of just let that submission happen in round 3. Low-key. If you go back and watch it, he kind of just fell into it and accepted it. Yeah, sucks for GM3, but Reinier de Ridder gets it done. Looked like shit doing it. His ground game doesn't even look that good. And I was pretty much right. Gerald Meerschaert has the worst chin, which, yeah, he got knocked down in round 1. But he was the better striker, and their grappling's about even. And their grappling was about even, where Reiner just kind of looked like shit, and GM3 kind of just made some poor choices, like pulling, not even guillotines, but he was like pulling this awkward side angle fucking Kimura or whatever. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? But anyways, moving on, main event, this is what everyone came to watch. Neil Magny, Carlos Prates. I predicted it perfectly. I did say Neil Magny's still good, he's still strong, he's still got skill, you know? And I picked Carlos Prates by a round 1 knockout. And I kind of thought this fight was either going to be Neil Magny ahead every round, or it was going to be Carlos Prates round 1 knockout. And that's kind of exactly how it was. And this is like, a lot of people are probably going to be like, man, Carlos, you know, Neil was doing good, you know, there's a good argument. Neil was winning that round until the final 10 seconds, you know? Kind of ironic because he finished Mike Malott in the final 10 seconds. But hey, you know, payback always comes around. You know, that's what you get for fucking with Canada. Woo! Canadians up right now, just saying. Who is the combat sport GOATs? You know, in the men's division, GSP. In the women's division, Amanda Nunes. Both Canadian. Hey, just saying, big dogs, just saying. Hey, Canada's coming. We will have our era. But Neil Magny, yeah, gets knocked out. And this knockout was, I thought he died. I thought he was dead. like this was like, this is what Bobby Green looked like after Jalen Turner, but instead of 20 strikes, it was 1. Like, this was like when you were watching and it's like, well, it's kind of close, and Neil Magny runs right into a clean straight left and just dies. He was literally a corpse for a solid 20 seconds. I didn't think he was going to get back up. Genuinely thought he was murdered that night. Carlos Prates, great takedown defense, to be honest with you. This was two kind of big boys in welterweight, kind of trying to throw around each other, and Carlos Prates was really good. What I will say is that Carlos Prates looks like he gets tired when a pace is being pushed on him. That's kind of the takeaway, but I kind of thought that was going to be the takeaway, so I'm not like lowering how I see Carlos Prates, but I will say this, his aura, yo, this guy's got, his aura is being maxed out right now. If you didn't see this guy in the interview, this kid in the interviews, in the Fighting Nerds and everything, bro, all of his teammates there wearing the nerd glasses, bro. In the interview, I don't remember the lady he was standing next to, but the lady was interviewing her, nice dress and everything. On God, bro, Carlos Prates looked like he impregnated every woman that night on the planet. He just had that aura around him, you know? He's sitting there with his hoodie up, like, yeah, you know what I mean, you know, I'm just here to make spectacular performances. Wasn't expecting English. I like that from a UFC prospect, especially a Brazilian. Come on now. Hey, come on. You know, this guy could be like the welterweight Charles Oliveira. Just saying. He's like a welterweight Charles Oliveira with, instead of being a savage, you know, lion tattoo fucking beast, he's just got the aura of like, just, he gets all the women, you know? He just has that aura. The hoodie on, bro. The clean teeth shining, bro. Definitely veneers. Those can't be real fucking teeth. But hey, he's got the aura. Rocking the tattoos. Hey, even when he's in the cage, clothes off, he's got aura. A Brazilian, how tall is he? 6'2", 6'1"? 6'1", Brazilian, fucking hella reach, a little bit shorter than Neil Magny, but a Brazilian with Muay Thai tattooed on the chest, brother. Every human being's running in the other direction. Could you imagine if Alex Pereira walked into every fight with like kickboxer, or like glory kickboxer, or like fucking Muay Thai champion or some shit on his chest? Bro, aura fucking kings, bro. You know, I know we're getting a lot of prospects fraud checked, but holy fuck, man. Prates is, oh, he's got that aura. I love this kid, man. Fuck. You know, think he's already got a woman. Nice tits. But Think he's got a daughter as well. You know, that shows high level testosterone. Love to see it. So I've got high faith in Carlos. You know, he passed the Neil Magny test. Start giving him ranked contenders. Speaking of which, it's just not working. Okay, we're just not working here. My keyboard's not fucking working. Okay then, I guess we're not gonna look up the rankings, but give him like give him Leon Edwards. No, give him. Who's a good welterweight test for like a top 10? Jeff Neal? I don't mind that. Carlos Prates, Jeff Neal. I say book it. Almost same schedule. Jeff Neal fought what last week? Week before, I think. Book it, bro. Jeff Neal, Carlos Prates. Jeff Neal's got to get in at one at least next year for his paycheck, so Carlos Prates could be that guy. This guy's also insanely active. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's his 4th fight in 11 months. Kind of savage, to be honest with you. If we're looking at rookies of the year, Prates is like top 3, maybe number 1. Top 3 though, for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown of the card. Great fight card. Honestly, I loved every single fucking fight except for these women fights. These fights, it's just like, alright, time to hop on Call of Duty and grind some fucking camos. Fuck this shit. But other than that, I mean, that's just, you know, every card with women. But, you know, we got some great fucking fights, you know? You know, you can't be mad with the Charles Radke first round knockout. Zaleski dos Santos getting a sick finish. You know, fucking Gaston Bolanos looking good. You know, great takeaway that Gaston Bolanos actually has great takedown defense. You know, GM3 going to war for 3 rounds was pretty fun and entertaining. And then you had Neil Magny murdered in the main event. You know, I like that. I like this card. UFC, keep doing this shit. A lot of people are shitting on this card. I thought this card was fairly okay, you know, upon further inspection. But yeah, with all that being said, I want to thank you for watching. Real quick, let me just get okay, John Jones, okay, Charles Oliveira, okay, okay. Yo, Paul Craig smoking Bo Nickel. Thoughts? I think Paul Craig is going to smoke Bo Nickel. I mean, how good are you unless you get finished by Paul Craig, you know? But anyways, with that card being said, I want to thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a good day.